Thank you so much for joining us. Today we have Gillian Davidson, CEO and founder of C3 Creative Group. Her expertise spans strategic marketing and brand development, luxury retail marketing and creative development, travel and leisure marketing, product marketing and creative development. I mean, you name it, she has pretty much done it all, which is why we chose Gillian.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to get started. Just tell us a little bit about your background and what drew you to marketing and creative services. And was it something you always knew you wanted to pursue, or did it kind of fall into your lap?
Well, first of all, I'm an FIU alumni. And when I graduated from FIU and my major was marketing, I started working in public relations. And one of the reasons that I went into marketing is because I have a creative background. I studied art my entire life. I'm an artist. And I wanted to mix the business with marketing with the creative side of it. So I ended up going into marketing by my dad actually persuaded me, because my father was in manufacturing and marketing throughout the Caribbean. He had companies throughout the Caribbean. And so I just wanted to kind of mix the two of them, and absolutely loved the mixture for me, because I was able to use my marketing knowledge with my creative knowledge, and it worked incredibly for me, because I was able to just help my clients and understand from both sides of the realms of what they were looking for from a business side and what they should be doing from the creative side. So it kind of mixed very carefully. So that's pretty much how I got started 25 years ago. I've been doing this for 25 years and had an amazing career with it.
Yeah, and speaking of that, so you served as vice president of Image Factory and also senior director of advertising and marketing for Sandals and Beaches Resorts. So what motivated you to kind of start C3 Creative Group and go out on your own? I guess it's a two-part question. And then what tips would you give professionals considering or hesitant about starting their own agency or consulting services?
I started with Image Factory. I was with them for 10 years, and I was vice president of the agency in charge of client services and media and client services. And I think for me, when I started with them, I was working on both brand and product development for our clients, and also with retail clients, and also with travel retail clients. So my background is very vast. I worked with luxury brands such as Cartier, Chanel. From a travel luxury, I worked with Ritz-Carlton. I did their corporate retail catalog. Mm-hmm. I developed brands from products such as Sammy Hair Care, and we took them from like 30 stores to 40,000 stores.
Wow.
And yeah, I'm working with the development of that brand. I started working with, the marketing media teams of the major publications, and took advantage of doing that. And then from there, my knowledge just kind of grew. So it's very well-rounded. So from public relations, I got into the advertising sector of it, and with the advertising, got into the media side of it. And then from the media, with the creative, brand development, product development, and everything goes hand in hand in an agency. Mm-hmm. When your clients come to you, they want to make sure that you're the expert. So you've got to really make sure that you have, a knowledge from that background. As far as advice that I would give, one of the best things that I ever did is learn as much as I could learn and move on. Like, I started working with different agencies, and once I learned the media side of it, when I saw that there was another opportunity for me to get stronger in branding, I worked with clients in branding. If I had luxury clients that I wanted to work with, I got to know their brand and everything about their product inside and out. So the most important thing in marketing is that you understand that there are so many different avenues to get your product out, so becoming an expert in those is very important.
Yeah, so diversify kind of your knowledge.
Absolutely. I mean, if you sit down with a client and your client starts asking you about branding, and you know that they need, the first thing that they need is the product development, and you need to figure out what's the most unique thing about their brand, and what can you market to set them aside from their competitors. You need to know this, you need to understand the steps in doing that. So it's strategizing, it's research and development, it's looking at them, where they stand next to the competitors and what makes them unique, what is the value of their brand. And then you've got to develop a campaign or your strategy to get them out there. One of the things you can't forget is that everyone has a budget. Sometimes brands start really small, and your job is to make them grow bigger, because the bigger you grow them, the more budget you get to work with, the more money your agency is going to make, or the more money that you have an opportunity to make, whether or not you're the agency or you're working in different parts of advertising. One of the, as far as advice, when I got out of college, I didn't really know. I knew what I learned in marketing, but until I got the experience, I had no idea. So one of the things that I learned working with an agency is that there's different ways for you from a career standpoint that you can make money, or advance your career. Being a media buyer is a very strong way to advance your career, because you can do the media buying and you make a commission on the media, however you structure your income source. Or if you work with an agency, I mean, most people won't tell you, but when you work with an agency, you can set up your pay structure. Either you work on commission or you can work on salary plus commission. If you work on salary plus commission and you're working with bringing clients in, then you can get a commission on the clients that you bring in. So you could advance very quickly.
Correct.
And I think that's really important knowledge for people getting into marketing, to understand that does not just have to be one way. That's the fun part about having a career in marketing. It can be creative if you love creative. And you experienced that with me actually working at Sandals, right? So, you're an amazing writer, but I recognize different skill sets that you had from a creative standpoint. So you can learn how to go on photo shoots and enjoy that part of it. And, you can find what your niche is in marketing and take it from there. So my advice would be to really get out there, expose yourself to the different opportunities that there are in as a career in marketing, or for a career in marketing, and see what you think you're really good at.
And go with it.
Take off with it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is you have been part of an award-winning campaign. You were a recipient of an ADDY both in 2015 and 2013. I know you told me before this that you have a picture over there of one of my campaigns. Yeah. So tell us a bit about those and where you kind of turn to for creative inspiration when you're working on that type of campaign.
I personally actually have received, I don't want to boast. Okay, so probably over
you can boast. You're allowed to boast.
I've received over 30 ADDY awards in my career. The most recent ones that I did, when I started C3 Creative Group, I had clients that just came to me based on the work that I've done in the past. My expertise in travel retail and luxury travel. Before working with Sandals, as I said, I did Ritz-Carlton was a client of mine, which is the finest brand that you can have in travel. And I also worked with Royal Caribbean, Atlantis, Kersner, several W hotels, Starwood. And just from that experience that I had when I left, after I left Sandals and I started C3 Creative Group, I had a client that came to me and asked me to develop a complete marketing strategy campaign for One Sandy Lane in Barbados. And so we did that. We took it from the very beginning. So One Sandy Lane is a luxury, I don't want to say, it's not a resort, it's a luxury condominium development company. Mm-hmm. And that's where Rihanna stays when she goes to Barbados for Christmas. Simon Cowell stays there. He rents it for like, a month or two for the holidays. Jay-Z and Beyonce. The condos, they go for $29,000 per night.
Wow.
$29,000 per night. So, they wanted someone that understood luxury and that understood travel. Mm-hmm. So when they came to me, I went out there, met with them, and we had to come up with a campaign that was going to be really, really, really exclusive. Mm-hmm. And part of that is coming up with a look and feel that just makes it stand apart from everybody else's. So that's what we did. And they also had another company with them as part of their company called One Caribbean Estates, mm-hmm. which was owned by Christie's International. Wow. So that just, it just brings it up to that level. So we had to learn, about that part of the industry, who our competitors were. We're going into the Caribbean. So they were a real estate company, a luxury real estate company for the Caribbean. So we had to, we developed their website, came up with the advertising campaign, did all their marketing, their digital media, social media, newsletters, whatever we needed to do to get them there. And that's what I won the latest ADDY award was for that.
So I know there's a doozy of a question, but it's on everybody's mind. So COVID has really made an impact across industries and the way we tell stories for customers, especially travel and retail. So what do you think customers are expecting from brands, and how do you think that'll impact marketing strategies over the next few years?
Well, first of all, this is the first time that we're dealing with a pandemic. So mm-hmm. I think that whatever we can do to stay in the eyes of the customer is the most important thing that we could do. One of the trends in marketing is that when people are faced with challenges and situations, they cut back with the marketing budget because they're not sure what's going to happen with the economy. But of course, depending on your budget, the advice is to spend and not just stay stagnant. We have to remember that there's a lot of competition. Mm-hmm. And those that spend and come up with marketing strategies and continue to be in the presence of the clients are the brands that continue to survive. Mm-hmm. So if you lay low, then you're going to be low, while the other customers, because you have to remember there's not going to be a lot of competition in the market at that time. Mm-hmm. So your competition goes down. So the more you spend and the better strategies and marketing marketing strategies that you come up with is the higher that you're going to end up, above your competition. Right. So advice would be to come up with different marketing strategies, empathetic strategies, that you can relate to the consumers with. Your social media strategy. I mean, social media is huge right now. And you can get out there and if you're really tight on a budget, you can come up with some really cool, strong social media ideas to, connect with the consumers. Even if it's just video based or, getting, reaching out to bloggers and having them speak about your brand or doing interviews as you're doing right now. And, become a leader in the topic, just do your research and make sure that whatever you're speaking about or the topics that you're talking about is something that consumers can relate to, and you can educate them because they're going to turn to you to try to get the latest information, in their industry, whatever recommendations you want to do, whether or not it, be, let's just take a brand, for example. Throw a brand out to me. Let's think it through.
Oh man.
Well, look at sandals, for instance.
Yeah, let's say sandals.
Sandals. Sandals, what they did was, Jamaica was closed. So they closed their borders. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing that they can really do. I mean, they can't have people come into, to the resorts if the borders are closed, right? So what did they do? They kept advertising, and they kept, so people that are home and stuck at home and they're like, oh my God, like I'm stuck in these four walls. They kept seeing these blue, gorgeous waters. And, I saw that they're using Three Little Birds as their song, Don't
Oh,
Worry About a Thing, because
yeah.
every little thing is going to be all right. So now you're like sitting there thinking, okay, well, let's get out. Let's get to Sandals when the borders open, right?
Yeah. So your first
So
vacation is going to be
your
where?
first vacation, you're there already making reservations because you want to get out and you want to go take a vacation, right?
Exactly.
So part of their strategy, what they did too, is I noticed that they were showing everybody how they clean the resorts and everyone's wearing masks and they're ready to welcome everyone. And they showed that they just opened the borders, and they showed the guests coming in through social media. This is all through social media. And that their social media platforms. So they showed the first guests coming in that had their mask on, and they were greeting them with the white glove service, and it was phenomenal. I thought it was an excellent way of, kind of dealing with the whole COVID situation and telling everyone, come, we're not an enclosed ship because the cruise lines are hurting. We've got fresh air and we're ready to have you. So,
Yeah.
you gotta really take advantage of, as I said, social media is great because it's not expensive to do. And you can also target your audience and update it on a minute by minute basis if you want to, and restructure your marketing strategy, and get out there, get out there.
Well, to close it out with kind of getting out there, like we said, people have been impacted by unemployment rates, especially in marketing, advertising, and even in travel industry and all those industries. So kind of when things start picking back up again from a professional standpoint, what do you look for as an employer? Like, what are some tips you can give people looking for employment in this industry? And what are ways that they can stand out to kind of land that job?
I think the most important thing is really branding yourself and finding out what you're really, really, really good at. Because one of the things that I look for a very, very strong team. Like I hire, if I'm coming up with a campaign or I'm coming up with, a marketing strategy or whatever I'm working on from a brand, I always want the best people working with me because I want the best talent. And you should look for people that are hiring people, based on the best talent. Because if you surround yourself with good, talented people, you're going to become a good, talented person too. As far as looking, I would say, reach out if you're, looking to be in an advertising industry, reach out to your local advertising federation and get a list of all the agencies from the ADDYs, from the Advertising Federation, and contact them. Just go, you've got to reach out and you've got to follow up with a phone call, and just keep reaching out and keep following up. But try to set yourself apart from everyone else. I mean, you're in a creative field. If you're talking about advertising, public relations, so do something creative to make your resume stand out, or come up with something interactive, something, that's what people are looking for right now, right? So, or, I mean, I would even think as far as, if you want to send your resume into like, for instance, if you want to send it to cosmetic giant, come up with some kind of cool box with something, creative, like that that they would open and see, and they're like, wow, this person went the extra step. If there's that much competition, you've got to show why you're the person they should hire.
Yeah. No, that's so
Go
true.
out there. No, it's true.
Yeah, and I like the following up with a call, because in such a digital world, sometimes, it's email and then, you don't hear back. And I think it's just
Realize you could be on the bottom of the pile and they not realize that you're even there. So follow up with a phone call and then say, when can I call you back up to follow up? Or find out what the status is of the position you're going after, and maybe if that position is not open, they may mention that another position is open.
Sure.
You never know what's there. And always, I'm sure that everyone knows this, but always reach out to the people that you know first.
Mm-hmm.
Because if someone could recommend you or put in a good word from you, from word of mouth is the best.
Yep.
If someone, I can tell you that many people that I've hired via someone else recommending, or I know a really good person that's really wants this position that I would vouch for. I think that's really important.
Yeah, so word of mouth is valuable professionally and also in marketing. Word of mouth.
Absolutely.
So
no, definitely.
All right, Gillian, thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Everybody's gonna love this, and we've gotten a lot of valuable insight from it. So Great. Thank you again.
Anytime. Thanks, Emma.